Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico. You got a chance to come here, but we're not going to talk about the travel stuff like the cathedral here next to me, the Basilica, the Cathedral of St. Francis of Assisi. No, we're going to talk about branding. Specifically, we're going to talk about how branding can help buyers like you and me, but also how branding can help sellers as well, okay? Because we kind of focus on consumers first, or the buyers. How does branding help us? Well, one thing it does, it helps us determine the products we like and dislike. I mean, think about it. I'm a Coke person, right? And so when I see that Coke brand, I know that's what I like. And I see the Pepsi can, I know, well, that's what I don't like. That makes my life easier, okay? So it helps us separate the products we like and dislike. So hey, I can grab my can of Coke because I know that, all right? And yes, branding in general does make shopping a lot easier. I mean, think about it. When you tell your parents or your grandparents or whatever to buy a video game for you, don't you tell them all the brands to go with? You're like, Grandma, for my birthday, I want the Xbox version of FIFA, the soccer game, okay? And Grandma's like, oh, okay. And she'll go to the store, right? And she'll go to Walmart and say, hey, I need to get the Xbox FIFA game for my grandson. Doesn't that make it a lot easier? Yes, the brands make it a lot easier to do the shopping, okay? Also, it also makes it quicker to make shopping decisions. Think about it. Having a brand that people recognize, they can choose it right away. Think about it. You're on the highway. You're here, you're doing Route 66 through the US. Maybe you come up here to Santa Fe and you're kind of looking for a place to grab a bite to eat on the road, and you're thinking, where am I gonna go? And you see those signs on the side of the road for all the different restaurants. And like, I don't know what they sell. I don't know what Tia Sophia sells. I don't know what The Shed is. Where do I need to go? You buy brands that you know, because you know the McDonald's, you know the Golden Arches, you know what it gets with it, and so you make that decision quicker because you already know the brand. Because that's what the brand really does. It helps the buyer know who's selling the product. And if we're looking at things that we don't trust or we don't know about, like I don't know what these restaurants are like, having that trust in the brand makes it more likely we're gonna go there. That's why when you travel around the world, people get their coffees at Starbucks. They go grab their quick meal at McDonald's and stuff like that, or Subway, because they already know that brand, okay? So it's quicker, it's easier, it's a brand I trust, right? And so you have that there. Now, another thing how brands really help consumers is also the psychological benefits. Think about it. You could associate yourself with a certain brand. Like I play Les Pauls or I play Dean guitars. I mean, there's a certain kind of aura that goes with that, and there's a kind of a brand willingness or a brand kind of culture that goes along with that we identify with, and that does give some consumers some pleasure. You know, that's why they wave their Cardinal fan flags, or they wave their Ferrari flags and stuff like that. There is that benefit there for them having that brand. Now, another thing you might want to look at is also when we're purchasing for consumers, what's nice is brands help us kind of evaluate different facets of the products or the industry that we're in. I mean, think about it. When I talk about cars, okay, I say, you're gonna get a Toyota. You're like, okay, Toyota, that's a middle class car, right? But if I say Lexus, you're like, oh, Lexus, that's the fancy car. Mercedes, that's the fancy car. It kind of puts things into perspective. So I know, look, if my neighbor's like, oh, we just got a new car, and they roll up in a Mercedes, oh, looks like business is going pretty well at their business. But if they roll in like a little Fiat Pinto or like a little tiny car or something like that, maybe means maybe business isn't going so well, but it does kind of symbolize different things. So we kind of understand better the facets of the industry by the different brands. And the last one I want to talk about is actually the brand helps consumers with risk assessment. I mean, think about it. I travel around the world a lot, and I get to countries and I don't always know what's in that can or what's in that bottle or what's there, but I do know what Coke is, so I can have an assessment. Oh, it's a Coke. I can see the Coke label. I have an idea what I'm going to get, so I'm not worried it's going to taste like something weird. It's going to taste like a Coke. And this is really important when people are buying new products that they're not used to buying. I'm not sure what cereal to buy when I'm traveling, but I know that Kellogg brand or the Kellogg's brand. So, okay, that's going to be the higher end, nicer cereal. So I'm going to go for that one, right? So there is that. The thing is, brands aren't just good for consumers. They're also good for us if we're sellers as well. Because for a seller, one of the best parts of branding is it helps us distinguish ourselves from our competition, our overall company, but also the products we have. Because we can say, if we're Culver's, look, Culver's has very different burgers than a McDonald's or a Hardee's, and people know that. We know that brand, so there's certain things we expect with that versus their competition. And kind of going along with that, branding also helps us segment the market out there. I mean, if you think about Head and Shoulders, they're famous for their dandruff control shampoo. And I don't need too much here, more on this side, but they've kind of segmented the brand for that. Like, look, this is the Head and Shoulders. That is everything to do with dandruff. We have those things there. So that can help. And so you might have companies that really develop a whole brand that's for a specific segment. So back in the day, Toyota had their Scion brand. It's been gone for years now, but they developed that to get the millennial customer, right? They're like, look, this is that segment that's just for you, right? And so it made it easier for them to sell to those customers. Now, another good thing that branding does for companies is actually it helps reduce price comparisons. I mean, think about it. If I'm comparing the huge university in my town versus the community college, I mean, people don't really compare prices because that big university is charging $40,000 a year, where the community college is charging $2,000 a year. Well, the brand is very different. Where there's a 4-year Carnegie Mellon institution, this is a 2-year associate's degree, and having that different brand lets people know. And so we don't necessarily compare the prices at junior colleges that we do to 4-year institutions, right? So you have that kind of stuff there. Now, going along with our old discussion on brand extensions, another good thing about branding for companies is it makes it easier for us to bring out new products. I mean, we can have Coke, vanilla Coke, cherry Coke, orange vanilla Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero Sugar. We can have all those things out there because that Coke brand really makes it easier because people know what Coke is. We can identify with that. Because think about it, the Fanta brand, I mean, we know Fanta is going to be a fruity flavored soda, right? Because the brand is fruity flavor, whether it's orange, strawberry, lime, lemon, whatever. But the thing is, we know that if it says Fanta, it's going to be a fruity soda. So it's easier for us to come up with a new Fanta than to come up with a whole new product. I mean, think about it. If it wasn't Fanta strawberry, we'd have to come up with a new name. Strawbalicious. Well, then we got to market Strawbalicious and get Strawbalicious everywhere? No, we just rather do Fanta, advertise Fanta, let people know Fanta, and then know that people associate fruity flavors with that because we can bring out a new flavor every summer because people will try it because they know the Fanta brand is fruity. Now, on the financial side of things, another benefit of brands is actually that it is an asset that a company has. I mean, the fact that we have a brand that people want to buy and they want to pay more for, that's worth something to a company. So that's another thing you want to look at as a benefit. But another one, if you haven't noticed in my videos, I talk about Culver's, I talk about Coca-Cola, I talk about Delta Airlines, because that's customer loyalty. And that's another great benefit of brand is people become loyal to a brand itself. And so therefore they shop with us more often. They talk about us in their videos and stuff like that. And so you have that. And the last thing I want to talk about for a benefit is when you have a good brand, a brand makes it easier for companies to kind of advertise, but also to work with their supply chain, work with retailers, because people know this brand. Walmart and Aldi and all these stores know that they have to have Coca-Cola because people really want Coca-Cola. Now, we can have Sam's Club Cola and we can have Aldi Cola and stuff like that, but we know that, hey, customers want to have that Coke, and therefore it makes it easier for us in the terms of supply chain and retailers to get our Coke into stores because people want that brand. All right, so I hope this helps you understand some of the benefits for us as consumers, but also us as businesses when it comes to branding. If you want to learn more, go to our Professor Wolters YouTube channel and hit subscribe. Give us a like if you like that. And what are some of the brands that you really enjoy, that you always love shopping with and buying from and talking about it? Put it in the comments section below so we can have some stuff there. And I'll say bye from here in Santa Fe.